in the world are they doing over at Polite Society? Well, you will find out today with me, Rebecca. I am a 20-year-plus veteran of fashion and beauty journalism, and I have worked with some of the biggest names in the business. I started Not Fit for Print Beauty here as a sort of digital beauty magazine that you could figuratively flip through here on YouTube. So about 10 or 11 months ago, so almost a year ago, Polite Society broke on to the makeup scene. This is a brand that is still relatively new-ish, from Jared and Jeremy, and we know them, of course, from Too Faced. They sold Too Faced, got out of that, waited the appropriate amount of time, and then began a few different brands, actually, but Polite Society was the makeup brand they started. And when they first came out, I will link it at the end, I did a little review of some of their brand new products at the time. I was very impressed with them. And then I kind of let it go. Now, Celeste G, who is not only a friend, but also a community member here, mentioned to me that she was playing with some of their newer products and asked if I'd kind of followed up on them. And I said, I never did. And she was really impressed. And Celeste is not easy to impress. So caught my eye, and I ran over to my Ulta yesterday. This is sold at Ulta, online in some stores, and on their website. And I picked up a few of the products that are new to me and new-ish. I mean, everything's still kind of new. And I thought we would follow up. But I will post my very first video with Polite Society at the end of this video, so stay tuned for that. All right, let me tell you what I got, and then we're going to go into the demo. I've already filmed the demo, and I'll show you all of the looks in that demo. Don't forget, of course, that you can follow me over on TikTok, Instagram, and on Threads. Plus, we've got a great free Facebook community and a membership, that I lead here on YouTube. So check all that information out below. All right, we are going to do, in the demo, we're going to revisit quickly two products that I've already reviewed, so you won't hear a lot from it. But one of it, we're gonna take a look really quickly at More Than a Pretty Face Skin Caring Foundation, $42, 30 shades. It's not going to get a lot of info because I've already reviewed it. And then the Go Flesh Yourself, very fingerprinted, I'm getting those off, palette here. This is a blush and highlight face palette for $39. Also already reviewed, but we'll give it a brief little stop real quickly in the demo. Here's what we're going to talk about today. All information will be on the screen, and ingredients for these new to me, new to this review product only. The first one is the VIP palette, or a very important palette. This reinvents outdated browns. We're going to talk about that. Really easy to blend and smooth. This is $39. There it is in the case. This is not the only eyeshadow palette, but it's the one I picked up. Let's take a look at its ingredients. Freeze the screen if you need to see that a little bit better. And of course, as usual, when I do introduce it, as long as it's a new product, which this one is new to me, I will have where it's made and how much you get in there, and of course, how many months. That's always on screen. Some of you ask why I don't say it, because I have to say so much information. I'm just going to... We're also going to look today, new to me, and I think relatively new to the brand, is the More Than a Pretty Powder Loose Setting Powder. This comes in 3 shades, $34. I picked up the pink shade. We'll talk about the other shades in the demo. I got the brightening pink shade. Let's take a look at those ingredients. Freeze that screen if the ingredients aren't up there for you for long enough. We're also going to look at, this one is the real cool one. This is really cool. We're going to look at the Polite Pops. This is a powder blush stick. So it's like a hybrid formula that's gel and powder. You open it up. These are so travel friendly, by the way. And you roll it up and it rolls back down. Amazing. $28, comes in 6 shades. I got the shade London. Take a look at the ingredients. Why don't you? And before we go to the demo, don't worry, we're going to do swatches in 2 different lights. But I also picked up the Polite Pout Glossy Lip Balm. This comes in 5 shades. I just picked up one, $21. Kind of affordable. I picked up Bumbleberry. That's a pretty one. And here are the ingredients for that. Obviously, I only have the ingredients for the shades that I picked up. And ingredients do change with shades. But for those of you that are really looking for something that would stand out as an allergen or a migraine trigger or something, I hope that helps you. Freeze the screen there. All right, let's look at the loot that I picked up in 2 different lightings. Now, you will not see the foundation or the face palette because I have reviewed it. But in our brand new for review today, let's take a look here at in studio lighting first at the VIP palette, reinventing those outdated browns. And then we're going to take a look at the Polite Pops. And then all the way by my wrist is the Polite Pout Glossy Lip Balm in the shade Bumbleberry. But you're going to see it best when we take it outside into the warm, who am I kidding, hot California sunshine. Look at those out there. Really pretty. We have the eyeshadow palette and that cool Polite Pop powder blush stick and the glossy lip balm by my wrist. Really some good stuff. Take a moment, make sure that you are subscribed, as that is the greatest compliment that you can give to me, honestly. And we are going to go now right into our demo. In the last video I did, the first video I did on the brand, I did demonstrate the foundation. I'll have that at the end. And this Go Flush Yourself palette. But I figured since we're revisiting it, and it's been about a year, we might as well make use of the fact that I do still have these products. So let's go ahead and put on the More Than a Pretty Face Skin Caring Foundation. This is $42, comes in 30 shades, and it is long wearing. Let's see what shade I have here. I have the shade, Light Neutral. It is a long wearing, kind of transfer proof. It's a very nice foundation. I haven't used it a ton, mostly just because it came at a time, it was released at a time when, do you remember last year, everybody and their brother had a foundation. I'm sure you made your own foundation. I'm sure I probably had a foundation launch. I'm kidding, but not entirely. On my face, when we started, is some skincare and nothing else. And made a little bit, I have some eyeliner and mascara on, just to kind of speed up the process. Okay. And I just kind of ran that everywhere. But that's nice, right? Little blurring effect. It's very pretty. There's nothing wrong with it. It's a very solid foundation, as would be expected from Jared and Jeremy, because Too Faced has always had, in my estimation, very reliable, especially think back, years ago with Too Faced, very reliable complexion products. So that stands to reason that this is nice. It's very blurring. It's a perfect kind of medium coverage. Again, I did a full review on that about 10 or 11 months ago. Okay. And I am going to open up the Go Flush Yourself palette. We don't need a blush because we're going to be looking at this newer blush stick, but we do need a highlighter. So this is peachy smelling. The others here are not scented, but this is peachy smelling, which at the time, so I'm going to grab the highlighter from it, which at the time I said was really cute because it draws on that kind of peach scent, in Too Faced. And it's a very natural brown. This is a natural peach. Again, I discuss it much more at length in that video. This is not a inorganic fragrance. It's actually, they use real peach stuff, but we talk about that. Okay. No need to re-review it, but it's got a very pretty smell. Okay, so just revisited those products. Now let's get into this new stuff that we have. We're going to start first with this. We had More Than a Pretty Face Skin Caring Foundation. Now we have More Than a Pretty Powder Loose Setting Powder. Now this comes in 3 shades. I bought the shade Brightening Petal, which is kind of a pink powder to brighten, and we're going to use it in a moment here. There's also a peach that kind of warms up the face, and there's a translucent powder that just kind of blurs. Okay, the cool thing about this is this container is a really nice solid plastic container, but it's got a curved sifter. What does that mean? It means that this powder is not going to get everywhere. It has like really nice brush placement, and then it kind of directs the powder back down the holes. It's actually quite nice. And I have a rougher brush here. This is the 1 Max because I'm going to go into the eyes with it. So I can just pick out a little bit of this pink powder here. It just doesn't make a mess, and just set under the eyes with it. I do not use a lot of powder, but for our purposes here, I will show you I do need it under the eyes. And you can just go ahead and put the cover on upside down. You can take it out of the cap if you want, but here it's all kind of being funneled back down the little holes. That's very innovative, actually. So I'll just work out of the cap, put a little bit on the eyes to brighten and to set. This is a very nice powder. And I'll put just a little bit on the T-zone just to kind of show you. And then around my nose, because I do sniffle. I have been sick for now going on 3 weeks, and it's getting better, but it hasn't really gone away. If you see, I shouldn't point it out because now you'll really see it. I've got my eyes kind of red here, you know, because viruses can kind of travel to your eye. I'm not feeling great, but I'm getting there, guys. I'm getting there. But I definitely need some powder because I'm sniffly still. And honestly, the powder that came out here is just kind of getting funneled back down into the little shaker holes. That's quite innovative. Jared and Jeremy, I am impressed. Okay, and a very nice powder, not caking up, has set everything really nice. So that's one of the newer products that we haven't seen yet. Let's go ahead and look at this eyeshadow palette. So they've had more than one, but I was most attracted, and I'll tell you why, to the VIP. This is the Very Important palette. This is $39. And they say that this reinvents, this is that quirky Polite Society thing. They say this reinvents outdated browns and neutrals. So what it is a brown neutral palette, but they want us to know that they don't think this is an average ordinary one. They've reinvented it. So they say it's easy to blend and smooth, it's buildable, and basically they're saying this is going to be a neutral palette that ditches the kind of boring, haggard, brown palette stuff. They said this is kind of have a little bit more life. And there are shades in here that lean more maroon and pink and red and a little bit more orange and rusty. So they're trying to kind of, you know, keep it interesting. So let's take that 01 Max. I was really impressed when I did the swatches, which you've already seen, with how beautifully it does blend and go on. It's got a very, very nice color payoff, as you see right there with that shade. I put on that shade right there. Make sure I get the right one here. And I'm just kind of putting that all over the lid just to also, I mean, I've already set it with the powder, but just a little bit more. It's very impressive. It's just kind of one stroke. It's like when Too Faced was at their best, which should not be surprising. I'm not talking about the recent, you know, recently people have been disappointed in Too Faced. That's not what I'm talking about, okay? I'm talking about going back to the DNA of the brand. Okay, let's go ahead. And in the pan, these mattes appear very smooth. It's really an interesting look. So I'm going to take that same brush, no need to make brush laundry, and go into this deeper shade here and just kind of accentuate. I did kind of take off a little bit of the product and just kind of accentuate the outer portion of the eye, which is very nice. So this is blending beautifully. It has a lot of color impact. I'm going back in there, but it does not stain or make a mark that's hard to blend. When you first put the brush down. Where you first put the brush down is where you will always have the most pigment, but this blends beautifully. Okay, getting a little bolder with it as I see. Probably time to switch brushes, but this is working really nicely. Yeah, this blends really nicely. Wow. I am impressed. I really am. And I'm going to take this Refer 13 Mini and go down into this slightly deeper shade here and just kind of run that underneath the eye and into it. Oh, that's really pretty. Okay, let's go here. This is Refer 1 Mini. And I'm going to just go right up into this shade here. These are really smooth, these mattes. Like you can't quite see them, but from the side, they're just, I don't know, they just lay in the pan beautifully. Okay, I'm just going to put that into the crease, just to define the crease a little bit more, because I have hooded eyes. Okay. And then I left the entire lid bare, so I can put my finger into some of these pretty shades. Let's do this kind of duochrome right here. And just put that all over, using the emolliency of my finger. Had an interesting question on my Sonia G brush video the other day. Someone was saying that some of these shades where you use your finger, she knew that it's better with the finger, but she was talking about which brush would be good. And, you know, we were talking about it in comments. But do remember, some of these do need the warmth of your finger. So even if you're going to apply it with a brush, sometimes that makes fallout. We don't have any fallout here, but do try to just at least tap on it with the finger, because it does need the warmth sometimes. Look at this pretty look we got coming together here. Okay, and I'm going to take that the little brush here. This one is the Rougher 14 if you're playing along at home. And I just want to go into this really pretty kind of sparkle at the top there. And just a little bit into the inner corner of the eye. Oh, maybe a little just on the center. That's a very pretty eye look. Yeah, I could see this is a kind of interesting neutral palette. I mean, because, you know, really, when I first bought this, I was like, if I see another neutral palette, I'm going to scream. It's actually quite pretty, isn't it? That's a pretty eye look. Travels easily. I am very glad that I listened to Celeste and reviewed this. I'll tell you, I asked what they were up to over there. Oh, they're up to some good stuff. That is a pretty eye look. So quick, so easy. All right, let's test this out now, okay? This is the Polite Pops. It's a powder blush stick. It's matte, so it is a stick, so it is a cream, but it's kind of a cream to powder. It comes in 6 shades, is $28, and you can use it with a brush or your fingers. It has kind of a hybrid texture, but it's going to dry kind of matte powder, so it won't be sticky. They're all named after cities. I should have gotten Los Angeles, but I think Los Angeles was like a cool pink, and it doesn't really work with this. So I got the shade London, which you already saw swatched. So let's go ahead and... You don't have to go. Some people don't like to go directly from. You can put this on your fingers or on a brush. I just decided to be dramatic about it. See how this blends. Very gently touching. I could use a brush, but it's not pulling up anything underneath. And I'm very gently smoothing it onto the skin. And I think that worked really nicely. Yes, I do have some highlighter there as well. That's fine. It's not interrupting anything. It's not pulling up the highlighter. I used the highlighter from that face palette from Polite Society that I reviewed about a year ago. All of this will be in the description bar, and where applicable, I'll put it up here on the screen where YouTube Shopping picks it up. YouTube Shopping is still a little bit new, so sometimes it doesn't get them all. But I try my best. If not, it's down below in the description bar. Okay. And then... I'm trying to just overdo it just a bit here, guys. Wow, I'm quite pleased with this. What does this feel like? Like powder. Actually feels like powder even here. I'm not feeling stickiness. Even here in the cream. That's an interesting product. That is an interesting product. I don't know what to make of that. It goes on like a cream. It feels like a powder, even in the stick. Huh. Let me put some across the bridge of the nose a little bit, just for fun. I didn't do any bronzer today, but that's okay, right? Wow. That's pretty. Okay. I'm kind of crazy impressed here. And funnily enough, I told you I hadn't used a lot of the foundation because when I reviewed this foundation, I was inundated. I mean, I'm only human, you guys. I like couldn't get out from underneath the pile of foundations that I was reviewing at the time. Was like 50 in a few months. Now that I'm able to get some perspective, this is why revisiting these things is nice. It's a nice foundation. All right, let's try on another new product, new to me, new-ish to the line that I picked up. This is the Polite Pout Glossy Lip Balm. This comes in 5 shades and is $21. And I got the shade Bumbleberry, which you saw swatched. It's got that kind of curved applicator there, squeezy tube. Let's try it. I don't have anything else on my lips. Now, this could, of course, it's very sheer. This could go over lip liner, which is probably how I'd normally use it, but I didn't want to interfere with you seeing the shade today. And it can also go over lipstick or just on its own as a treatment. So it's very sheer. It was less sheer in the swatch. That's very sheer. So I would normally do a little bit of a lip pencil first, but it feels like an oil, has a bit of a sweet taste, but no scent, even though it's called Bumbleberry. No. And when I taste it a little bit, I can't smell it, but when I did taste a little bit of it, it was just kind of like a sugary taste. When I tasted a little bit, but it's not running. It has kind of a feel of a lip oil, very comfortable, not goopy, not icky, not I mean, it's oily, so it's sticky in that sense, but it's not goopy. It kind of just feels like a really nice thick treatment. Well, let me tell you guys. I'll answer my own question here. You know, what's happening over at Polite Society? They're doing some nice things. Yeah, that's right. They're doing some nice things. I never know what to make of their marketing. But I got to tell you, I'm still, just like I was about 10 or 11 months ago, I'm still struck by how unique and interesting it is. And I'm still kind of like a puppy with my head crooked like that, wondering what Jared and Jeremy have planned for us with this, and trusting them. You know, I know that now we look at Too Faced, and when I do I do review Too Faced, and when I do, so many of you are like, I'm so sick of Too Faced. But remember how you felt about Too Faced when it wasn't what it is now, okay, a long time ago. And I think we see some of that innovation and kind of cool product. Look, they're at Ulta, they're online at Ulta, they're on their own website. Give a product a try. I'm telling you, I mean, I know it's not Givenchy, it's not claiming to be, but this is a pretty look. And for those of you who lost faith in Too Faced and miss it, these are the guys that were the minds behind it. And yeah, I say more power to them. This, let me tell you, this Polite Pops, I don't know what this is in a good way. That's a powder even there, but it goes on like a cream. And I urge you to give the foundation another try. The eyeshadow palette was an absolute delight. I got nothing to complain about. I'm sorry. If you would like me to complain, I can make something up. Complain that I don't know. I don't have a complaint. I don't. It's beautiful. So this is where you come in, and this is what makes us a community. What do you think? Have you tried it? Let's talk below in comments, because I like to have little chats with you guys. How do you feel about Too Faced and the direction it's gone in? And are you willing to come over to the Polite Society side and see what's happening over here with Jared and Jeremy, who still have my faith and belief? This is a nice little makeup collection. So tell me your thoughts below. Share that. Like I said, everything will be down below or where I can here on screen with YouTube shopping, just for you to check everything out. Make sure that you subscribe, as that really helps me, and it's the biggest compliment that you can give me, and share and like, and I will see all of you in the next video. Bye-bye.